Addicts, welcome to the Rocket Mortgage Classic 2021 from Detroit Golf Club. We are the Tour Junkies. This is the DraftKings preview show. We're going to make some picks. We're going to talk about the golf course. We're going to have a good time. Me and Pat just got into a little bit of an argument right before the show. Pat is offended that I texted him that another friend of mine was a best friend a couple weeks ago, but I may have been drunk because he's not really my best friend. Pat, I just found out his feelings were hurt for a couple days. And I don't know how the show's going to go now. I don't know. Pat, are you? I told you that it was a drunk text. I didn't mean it. He's not my best friend.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, I kept it in for a few too many days. I should have let it out.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I did it before the show, and that was the time I thought to do it right then.
Great time.
I don't know why.
Great timing. We are presented by our friends, our best. If we had a best friend that was a fantasy golf betting golf data company, our best friend would easily be fantasynational.com because they've been with us since the beginning. They've been ride or die since the beginning. Almost 5 years now. We've been dealing with Fantasy National, and they're the best. They are the best. So, if you had a friend like that, it would be Fantasy National. And if you go to fantasynational.com/TJ, you even get an upgrade to the best friend because you get 20% off any subscription level that you choose, weekly, monthly, or annual. So take advantage of that. Sign up now for the month. You get the next couple weeks. You get the Open Championship, the last major of the year. You get working into the FedEx Cup playoffs. It's a great site. If you're betting, if you're playing golf, if you're playing fantasy golf, if you're playing one and done, if you're in a league with your buddies, if you're doing that dumb game the PGA Tour used to do, I don't know if they still do it. It's terrible. But if you're doing that, anything involving the PGA Tour and fantasy golf or betting on golf, you need to join Fantasy National. Check it out. And we appreciate those guys for being such good fantasy golf, betting golf data, best friends.
Yeah.
Best friends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Hey, listen, Nut Hut winner last week goes to Matt L. at EFOPS, who is the very first 3-time winner of the Nut Hut Listener League. That's right, 3-time winner. So he has a spot in the finals, and he has 20 extra bonus points, 10 points for each additional win in the Nut Hut Listener League finals coming up at the Northern Trust in a few weeks for a chance to win a trip of a lifetime to play golf with me and you in either Augusta or Savannah at our home course, all expenses paid. Matt is crushing it. So congrats to him. That's awesome. Also, continuing to crush it is you. And, I can't give you 100% credit for Harris English because on the DraftKings show, I brought him up first and I was all over him. Then you said, I can't believe you stole my Harris English play. I was kind of thinking I was going to get that one by you, but I love Harris English, so you fully agreed. And then on the betting show, you went first in that range and you snatched him at 50-1 on the betting show. And you had the playoff from the playoff that would never end, the most boring, just constant.
It really was boring.
Pillow fight of a playoff between English and Kramer Bigcock or whatever his name is. It was the longest freaking playoff. But English takes it down. Good to see a dog, a DGD, take it down. And English 2-time winner now this year. God, it's just crazy. Next year when we look ahead at the future season, like when the Safeway gets going and you make predictions, can you imagine just having predicted Stuart Sink was going to win twice, Harris English was going to win twice, Phil's going to win a major? They'd lock you up. They would lock you up.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, too, is, I'm just coming out from being up in Minneapolis at Hazeltine, where they had the Ryder Cup in 2016. And now we kind of start to think we're kind of hitting that home stretch for the Ryder Cup. And I think Harris English may have punched his ticket. I don't know. He's just outside. He's just outside that top 6 because now this year Stricker has they'll have the automatic 6 in, and then he has 6 picks. I think Harris English is now 7. So, we're getting down there, just a couple more months to go. So it'll be interesting to see as we finish out here who's going to make a little bit of a run.
Yeah, and along with that, you've got the FedEx Cup playoffs. So you got people and the FedEx Cup standing. So if you're outside the top 125, you're needing to make sure you sneak in there over the next few weeks. So something to pay attention to when it comes to building lineups or making bets or whatever. A little extra motivation on tour, I think, in some of these events towards the end of the year goes a long way for some of these guys. Pat, I mean, real quickly, how was Hazeltine? You played with Moose. You played with our boy Moose.
Yeah, it was. We had a great time. Hazeltine is a fantastic course. It is very difficult. The most difficult for me was the rough. Not necessarily the rough that was off the fairways, but around the greens. I'm just not used to that. With Bermuda, we talk about how sticky Bermuda can be, but you can kind of sweep it out of Bermuda. You can fluff it out of there and let the ball run. Not out of this stuff. I hit more chips that went 1 foot than I have it in as long as I can remember. Like maybe when I was a junior golfer trying to learn how to chip beside a green. I mean, it was very difficult. The greens were fast. It dumped rain on us the third day. That's the most rain I've ever played in my life. But we had a great time. Beautiful weather the first 2 days. Moose was a fantastic host. Hazeltine is a great place for a member guest. Big member guest, man. 90 teams. 90 teams. So we finished about middle of the pack. Got up there the second day. Got ourselves in position. Got one of the later tee times on Sunday. And that was a very difficult day. We got the bad weather draw, DB. Bad weather draw.
That'll do it. Yeah, you're not very good on the last day of a member guest.
Especially when you're on date. That was our seven. We played around Wednesday. Speaking of that, round Wednesday practice round with Chad Eckert, Josh Culp. People might know them from the fantasy industry. Chad does a fantasy golf pod, and Josh does some writing for, I think, Number Fire.
Josh is an OG too, man.
Yeah. So we had a good time. Played Wednesday. So we played 72 total holes between Moose and I.
Damn.
It was a lot of golf. That's a lot of golf for anybody. I don't care, even if you're like drinking as much the whole time as I am. It's a lot of golf.
Yeah, it's a lot of golf, man. It'll take its toll on your body for sure, especially with a body like yours. It'll definitely take its toll. I did. Yeah, you boys look like you had a good time. That was great. Good to see. I played golf yesterday with a Korn Ferry Tour player, Matt Atkins, who is top 30 on the Korn Ferry Tour in driving distance. An Augusta State golfer, Dawson Booth. And then I just wanted to go just hang myself. So that's what I got to do when I played golf. It was a good time. I tell you who doesn't want to do that, and that's a couple big hits in the Nut Hut, by the way. I meant to talk about that. Our boy Bryce Moore, who's in the chat. Bryce Moore won like 15K. The guy's always winning on DraftKings. And then somebody else, I don't know who it is. It was like, I remember the username, but he won like 25K he was in the Nut Hut. So a lot of big Nut Hut wins last week. I guess people taking some of that Harris English advice or whatever. I mean, listen, that's a big advantage to the Nut Hut. Is like there's plenty of sharp people in there. We're not the sharpest. That's for sure. You probably figured that out by now, but we're not the sharpest. Speaking of the Nut Hut as well, next week, new segment, and I'm really excited about this segment, Pat. It may not be a weekly segment, but it's going to be a frequent segment. We're going to start doing a game here on the Tour Junkies podcast. You're going to want to be watching. I think it'll be better watching, but so for you YouTube viewers, this is going to get better. We're going to pick a lucky Nut Hut member who is watching live while we record the show every Monday night or almost every Monday night. And we're going to bring you in to the show on camera, and we're going to do a game called Nut Up or Shut Up. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a quick game. It's going to be about golf. We're going to ask you some questions. You're going to get it right. If you get it right, we've got some great prizes lined up. Next week, I can tell you, there's going to be a nice bottle of liquor coming your way if you get drawn and you happen to win the game. Our friends at Wild Leap Brewing are going to send you a very nice bottle of vodka, and maybe if you play your cards right, maybe some beer. And they got really good beer. Pat, it looks like that's what you're drinking right now, right?
Yeah, I got the triple IPA tonight. First time I've had this one. Yeah. I threatened to drink it last week, but I felt like after the week I had, triple IPA was necessary for.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably didn't need to do that. Anyway, it's going to be fun. Nut Up or Shut Up is going to be hilarious, I think. And we'll make it quick. We'll make it snappy, and we'll get the listeners involved. But you got to be a Nut Hut member. We're going to pull from Nut Hut members because you guys are the best. So that's what we're going to do. So go to tourjunkies.com, click on Golby's Nut Huts, $10 a month, $90 a year. Check it out. All right, Pat, let's get to it, man. We got Detroit Golf Club. This is the third year, I guess. Third year we've seen this place. It's shockingly not underwater, despite a lot of rain that's happened in that area here lately. Saw a highway almost completely underwater. So you got Detroit Golf Club, Bryson DeChambeau, your defending champ, Nate Lashley, won the inaugural event at Detroit Golf Club. But tell us what else we need to know, key stats, your thoughts, all that stuff.
Yeah, so Detroit Golf Club is a par 72 playing 7,370 yards. We've got 156 players in the field this week. T65 and ties will make the cut. Pretty much have bent grass from tee to green. They do have a mix of POA in there. You've got 4 par 5s this week. I think 3 are probably reachable. 1 is probably not reachable for most guys at 634 yards. But this is just a classic Donald Ross design, tree line, several dog legs out here, that really just reward good positioning off the tee. The fairways are not that extreme, they're not that hard to hit. But I still think this is a ball striker's course. I do think you got to hit these fairways, give yourself a great shot to have a good approach into these greens. The front 9 is a little more closed, like tight than the back 9. It really opens up on the back 9. That's where guys like Bryson and whoever else can just bomb it away and really take advantage of this course on the back 9. I'm just going to be looking for guys that check the box and strokes gained off the tee, approach, scoring. They got to be scoring a ton this week. Par 5 scoring, opportunities gained on Fantasy National. I mentioned ball striking. Looking at past champions, that tells you enough on the scoring here. Bryson was at 23 under last year, and then Nate Lashley at 26 under the year before that. So got to have birdies and bunches this week. I think that's going to be key. Should be fun. Not a great field, but it's not terrible. So we'll see. That is that's your rundown, DB.
Yeah, I was just checking the sports books right now. They have the over/under total winning score at minus 23.5. So 23.5 under is where they're putting it. So yeah, like Pat mentioned, major scoring fest here, which is going to produce a ton of variance, right? Like that's what we see in these birdie fest when you have events like this. A lot of these guys can get hot. It's complete opposite of a tough course like the U.S. Open, like the PGA at Kiowa, where the cream tends to rise to the top. The tougher it gets, the tougher conditions get. The better score that par becomes, you tend to have the better players rise up. So go ahead and prepare yourself for some variance. Go ahead and prepare yourself to be a little shocked at who you see make the weekend, not make the weekend, finish up top in the top 10 or top 20. It can be a lot of variability. And I think, we've kind of seen that at a few events over the last few weeks. I feel like we've seen
the one that shall not be named, maybe?
The one that shall not be named is one. Yep.
All right, so prepare yourselves, like DB's saying.
Yeah.
Like, think about that event, okay? It started with Kong. And that's it.
And it ended
and everybody got just ticked off at the leaderboard, and everybody was just like, F this tournament and whatever else. You might have that this week, okay? Get your mindset right. Get your mindset okay.
Which means you can approach it a couple different ways. I mean, you can do this every week, but I think you can say, all right, you know what? I tend to not love those events, or I don't do well at those events, or I just want to stay away from those events. So you can limit your bankroll, limit your exposure a little bit, save it up. You got the Open Championship in just a couple weeks. You can use it for that. Or you could attack and say, you know what? I'm going to embrace the variance. I'm going to embrace the variability, and I'm going to do my thing and go and play this thing, I mean, it is very likely also that you see in an event like this, a lot of the chalk absolutely bomb. Okay. So it could happen. Nate Lashley won this thing as a Monday qualifier. He won it as a Monday qualifier. Him and Corey Connors, the last couple of guys I can think of to do that. It doesn't happen often. So, yeah, he was probably like, God, I don't even think you could bet him that week, actually. I don't remember.
He had to have been like 300 or 400 to 1.
Oh, at least.
Maybe more than that.
At least, yeah. So, there's going to be some variability for sure. But I kind of think I'm not getting too bogged down in the stats this week. I think a lot of different players can win here. I do think it's your accuracy types that keep it in the fairway, hit a lot of greens. These are smaller greens than usual. So I think the guys that hit a lot of greens can do it. But Bryson also proved he could do it. And Matt Wolff was up there too. Like, those guys proved you can cut corners, you can bomb it, hit it in the rough. Who cares? They proved you can do that too. So,
but then again, somebody like Bubba has missed the cut here 2 times in a row. And this seems like a good course for him. Likes to work the ball both ways, likes to cut it around corners, do all kinds of crazy stuff, miss the cut. So,
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah, so I just think it's wide open. Go ahead and embrace that. Know that. Obviously, approach play is always number one to me. So I'm still definitely looking at approach play. I'm looking at rolling reports on the strokes gained approach numbers that you can get on Fantasy National to see how the trends are looking, to see who's popping there. And you got to putting's going to be important this week, although it's hard to predict. But these are bent grass, POA mix kind of greens that we've seen here lately, and we see it in this area. But you got to get hot with the flat stick. I want form. I want somebody who can come in here and score. I don't really care that much about the course history. It's okay, but I mean, we played here twice. Last year it was early out off the COVID restart. I'm not super wrapped up about did they miss both cuts or whatever. Like I'm not crazy about looking at that this week. I just think be ready to embrace a lot of variance. That's the big deal. So I'm looking forward to it. Our boy Anthony AC in the chat confirmed he was not available to bet or play on DraftKings that week. I now remember that. I remember Nate Lashley winning and you not having the winner in the player pool for DraftKings after he Monday qualified. I mean, that's insane. That's so wild. All right. Pat, I've been talking to folks, man, and I think you should have done this in Hazeltine, but I don't think you did. I think you told me you forgot it at the house. You forgot your good multifunctional face serum from our friends at Caldera Lab. You've been trying to tackle your wrinkles and your dry skin and, the sun and all that kind of stuff. You've been trying to do that, and then you forgot it at the house. But, in a couple weeks, if you would use it consistently, your skin would be smoother and firmer, that's for sure. And you need something firm on you,
Is that stuff airport safe, though? Because sometimes I leave things at home because I'm so scared about putting things in my bag that are not going to get me through the airport, which happened this past week. Anyway, that's another story for another day. Me and airports and traveling, it's like we could do a whole show on it. We could do a whole show on me traveling. DB knows.
I mean, Mayo does his cuss corner stuff. I'm telling you, Pat, traveling is the best. The good multifunctional face serum is fantastic. They did a clinical trial on it that proves it'll work on all skin types. If you got a beard, if you're bald, if you got dry scalp, if you got wet scalp, it'll keep it shiny and moisturized. It'll be really good. You can try it 100% risk-free. If you don't love it, they will refund you in full. But they also have a ton of other stuff. They've got a ton of other stuff. So you just need to go to calderalab.com, and a special offer for our listeners of the Tour Junkies podcast. You get 20% off your first order at Caldera Lab. Your first Caldera Lab purchase, go into calderalab.com and use discount code Tour Junkies at checkout. That's CALDERALAB.com, and use promo code Tour Junkies at checkout. If you're playing golf in the sun, if you're in the sun a lot, take care of your skin. Don't be a tool. Because it can come back to bite you. And they got all kind of stuff over there at Caldera Lab. All right, Pat, let's get to the picks. Let's talk about this. You got the 9K range, 9K and above range. Obviously, the fat golfer is leading the way. Bryson DeChambeau at 11.4, followed by Reed, another fat golfer. Webb Simpson, Hideki. Willie Z is back at 10K. Joaquin Neiman, 9,800. Jason Kokrak, Sung Jae, Bubba, Matt Wolf, and freaking Keegan Bradley, all back here, 9K and above. We're going to give you 3 plays and a fade. I'll start with my fade. I did this last week. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to fade Sung Jae Im at 9,300. I don't know, man. I'm looking at these guys, and Sung Jae's just been so up and down. He's been okay, then he's not been okay. He's been okay, he's not been okay. But he's not on Bermuda right now, which I don't love. I mean, damn, we basically play on 3 different grasses on the PGA Tour, and we got 2 of them this week, and he sucks on both of them. But he's really good on Bermuda. I'm passing on Sung Jae. The inconsistent form, having to pay for that. I want something a little better than what Sung Jae's been doing lately. So I'm going to pass on Sung Jae at 9,300. 35th at the U.S. Open. That's fine. 35th at the tournament that we shall not name. That's fine. Miscut Memorial, miscut at the Schwab. It's just kind of been weird this since really March, April, I guess. I mean, he's definitely got upside, but I'm just not going to pay up for that. I'm not doing it. My top play in this range at 10-4 is Hideki Matsuyama. The irons continue to be quite solid for Hideki. I mean, if you look at the rolling report, It's fantastic. If you look at the last 24 rounds, doesn't matter. Fantastic. Putting surfaces, he's opposite Sungjae. Okay, he sucks on Bermuda the most, and he's actually gained strokes on POA and just barely loses, like almost nothing on bent. I think you can't go wrong with Hideki. The irons have been so good. They're really tough to pass up. He's actually played well here too. T21 and T13 in 2 attempts. So I'm going Hideki at 10-4, and I don't care if he's popular or not. He may be one piece of chalk I'm going to eat there. I'm not going to play Bryson. If you stick around for the betting show, I do have a unique way to work Bryson in, to have a little Bryson exposure, not an outright. But I've got a little Bryson exposure that I can talk about on the betting show. But that'll be it for me. I'm not going to play Bryson at the top price at 11-4. Just not going to do it. My next play is going to be Jason Kokrak. Kind of disappointed a lot of people at the U.S. Open with the missed cut, coming off the victory at the Charles Schwab. But, as frustrating as that was, I think for an event like the U.S. Open in the tough conditions that it is, like it's hard to weigh too much into it when a guy like him misses a cut. The irons weren't terrible at the U.S. Open. He only lost like 0.4 strokes on approach. His scrambling was terrible, but his scrambling is historically, that's what he sucks at. So it was magnified at the U.S. Open, and I'm okay with it. Like I think he's going to bounce back. Maybe some people have some scar tissue from the U.S. Open, and they kind of stay away. But I mean, if you look at what he did before the U.S. Open, he's been on an absolute tear, and now 2-time winner this season and 2-time winner on the PGA Tour in his career. He got his first 2 wins here. So love Jason Kokrak this week. I'm going to go back to the well there at 95. And then I'm only doing this once. Don't let me do this, Pat. Are you paying attention?
Yeah, I'm wondering what you're about to say.
A lot of times you check out. Last week you checked out on me.
Yeah.
So you're paying attention?
Kind of. I think so.
Okay, start paying attention right now. Don't let me do this again. But I'm going to take Keegan again after a miscut, after 2 miscuts. If he misses the cut on me here, you don't let me take him again until we get to the no cut event FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't let me do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I can't stop. I can't stop. I'm Jesse and Saved by the Bell with the caffeine pills. I just keep pumping. I just keep doing it, and it's just so attractive, I mean, even with the miscut last week of the Travelers, he still gained 4.3 strokes on approach. He went back to like early season Keegan by losing 3 strokes with the putter when he had actually been finding a little bit with the putter as of late. I just can't stop it. The ball striking is too good for Keegan for me to avoid. And again, maybe a little scar tissue like Kokrak with the coming off miscuts. Maybe I get a little bit of a break. So I'm going Keegan, Kokrak, and Decky.
Okay. All right. I thought you had already said one. That's why I was a little wondering what you were doing there. I thought you were adding in a 4th GPP play, but you didn't. Okay. Nope. So there's some agreement and some disagreement here. I agree with you on Hideki. He was one of my top GPP plays for all the reasons that you said. I love Hideki this week. I like the price at 10-4. The way I want to structure lineups just early on right now, I think you can fit Hideki in and get some pretty good ones. So I do like him at 10-4. I also like Will Zalatoris this week. As a matter of fact, he is probably one of my favorite plays this week. I know you didn't take him, but let me just tell you, Willie Z, 7th in the field in ball striking, 4th in strokes gained approach. We know his putting is suspect, okay? That's fine. He's like now the newer version or the latest version of Colin Morikawa. Great all around.
There's just so many of them.
Yeah, but can't putt. But I think this could be the week Willie Z gets it done. I know he burned a lot of people at the U.S. Open. Maybe that gives us a little bit lower ownership. I don't know. But at 10K, he is one of my favorite plays this week. I actually like Sungjae M, and the reason I have not many good reasons to like him. But we talked about this tournament, just like the one that maybe should not be named a few weeks ago. A lot of different things can happen. I think this could be a good week for Sungjae M. He's across the board. He's about average when it comes to the stats. but who knows? I just feel like this could be a Sung J M week. He's decent on approach, decent off the tee, good ball striker. The putting could be interesting. We'll see. But at 9,300, I like the price. I think we got a lot of upside out of him. I like some Sung J this week.
It's tough. Like I'm just trying to land on a fade here, and Sung Jae does do the. I mean, he a lot of fairways, and he's been doing that even in the tough events. I was looked at him in depth today. He's still hitting a lot of fairways. The irons are still pretty good. Putting is not. And I agree with you. I think he does have the upside. I think Sung Jae could win and make me look like an idiot. I just don't think his floor currently is as high as I would like it to be at 9,300 and with the other names and other options in here. But I think it's close. It's not one I feel super good about. Like last week, I felt great about fading DJ as the highest priced player. And I'm still fine with that. Like I finished T25, whatever. Like, but I don't feel as good about Sung Jae. I will say that. I don't feel as good about Sung Jae as I did last week.
Yeah, I just think Sung Jae could have a good week, and there's a lot. This is a week too where you got to go with a little bit of gut here, especially with some of the lower plays. And but I like Sung Jae. I do not like Bubba Watson though. I'm fading him at 9,200. What the hell, man? What the hell, Bubba? What are you doing on Sunday? Like, what happened? I didn't even watch it, and I just heard about it today. And he what did he go 5 over on his last 4 or 5 holes? Has a great chance to win the tournament for the 4th time. His approach play, I mean, you look at his last 24 rounds, he's 101 in the field when it comes to that. Ball striking's been pretty good, but he's missed a cut here twice. I'm not doing Bubba. Not doing Bubba this week. I'm out.
I will say, if you look at Bubba's rolling report from 24 rounds to the last 4 rounds that he just played at the Travelers, he went from 101, 102, 54, and 29th in the field. So he's trending down. But yeah, it was a really weird Sunday for Bubba. I don't know. I actually kind of feel like Bubba and Sung Jae are similar there in terms of good upside. It wouldn't shock me to see Bubba win here. It wouldn't. I definitely think, last week was your better week for Bubba. We know Bubba has Bubba courses, so last week may have been the better chance for him to do that. Obviously, he did not do it. But, I don't know how much Bubba probably likes Detroit either. I feel like Bubba and Detroit would not be a good mix. Maybe that's why he's missed the cut twice. I don't know why he's coming back, but could be Ryder Cup. I don't know where he stands there. He's probably really far back in the Ryder Cup rankings.
Yeah,
So
I don't think Bubba's quite there yet, but
yeah, because we know he's all about playing for his country.
Yeah, I don't think we have a Bubba week this week. I didn't think we would last week, and we did. It was okay till the very end.
Yeah. Okay. That's it for you. Did you say everybody?
Yeah, that was it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. AK range. I don't love the AK range at all. Like it was actually fairly difficult for me to nail it down. I think this is a range I will not have a lot of. You got Jason Day at 8,900. You had a good showing last week. Charlie Hoffman, Ricky Mother effing Fowler at 8,700. Gary Woodland. Our boy Kiz got hot. Little Who Lit the Kiz action on the weekend. Had a good week. Max Homa, Garrick Higo, Grillo. Pissed a lot of people off last week. Cam Tringali. Phil and C. Woo. Shout out Pat Mayo. Kim.
That gummit C. Woo.
By the way, did you send C. Woo his t-shirt?
Yes, it is on the way to him.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you I didn't feel great about C. Woo last week. Remember you asked me about that.
I've missed in my one and done, the Mayo one and done. I've missed 2 cuts all year with guys I've picked. I can't remember the first one, but I think it was Rory at the Masters maybe, and then this one with Siwoo.
Yeah,
pissed me off.
Well, he's not officially one of my picks, but I will say I'm not as down on Siwoo this week as I was last week. I might come around on him.
Yeah.
All right, but officially, I guess my 2 picks in this range. Let me pull it up here. Are 2 guys who continue to be absolute stripe shows with their iron play, strokes gain approach play. I mean, I'm telling you, that's when I'm going super, I mean, I look at that every single week, as you should too. That stat is probably the most predictive stat on the PGA Tour. But on a week like this, where I'm not looking at a lot of stats and I'm more kind of going off form and ownership and approach play and just, can this guy win a tournament at 24 under? I think the approach play matters a little bit more. And despite both of these guys burning some people here recently, I'm going to start it at Emiliano Grillo at 8,200, who burned a ton of people last week at the Travelers. I did not end up having shares of him last week. I don't know if I talked him up, but I didn't have any shares of him last week with the Travelers. Missed cut. He also missed the cut of the Memorial. But despite that, he continues to gain strokes on approach. The trend is not great for him, but it's also still just so solid. And I mean, if you look at his spring, he had a T21 at the API, 6th at Corrales, runner-up at the Heritage, 14th at Wells Fargo, 8th at Charles Schwab. Like, Grillo's still a ball-striking fiend right now. And I think, again, similar to the Kokrak Keegan thing, I'm going to see him burn some people and jump back on. I'm going to do the same thing with my next play here in the 8K range, and that's Cam Tringali at 8,100. I'm going to get back on the Cam Tringali train after the miscut last week at the Travelers. He still gained strokes on approach last week despite the miscut. He barely missed it. And his form, long-term form is solid. He's hit a little bit of a bump here in the last few weeks, but he's still hitting the irons well. He's still, the putter's okay, coming around a little bit. He's popping somewhat with the putter. I think Tringali is interesting here. He's not known for hitting a lot of fairways, I guess. Or being like super long, but he's just kind of okay in both. I don't know. I probably didn't really sell you on Cam Tringali very well there, but he's actually finished 5th and 30th here. His first 2 attempts here. I don't know. I don't love this range. So I'm probably not going to have a lot of either one of these guys. I told you that in the beginning. So if I had to pick 2, that's where I'm going. We'll see how it all shakes out. My fade is going to be Garrick Higgo. I still think, he won the tournament that shall not be named, which is great and all good, and it was fine. And I think he's a talented player, but I still think he's shown after that why we just still need to maybe wait and see a little bit. Wait and see just a touch on Garrick Higgo. Yeah, he's exciting. I'm excited about the young kid too. He's cool. 8,300, whatever. I just don't get fired up about it. He just feels like the new toy, and I think we wait and see. And he's also, I wrote this down too. This is another stat. He's not Guido, He's not Guido. If I'm going to get fired up about a Euro kid,
he is not. That is true.
Give me the Guido. I'll take the Guido right now. I'm not saying that long term I'd rather have Guido, but right now the fist pumps and the swag and he's just showing me something. Guido's showing me something. So, and he's not in the field, unfortunately, but yeah, Higgo is confirmed, not Guido, not the same person. So,
yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, well, I'm going to go in the middle here of this range, and I'm like you. I'm not huge on this range here, but I like Gary Woodland at 8,600. You look at his stats; he's 11th.
Why don't we do these to ourselves every week or every other week? Why do we do this?
Because I want to.
Didn't we just talk about this like 3 weeks ago? We just had the conversation. I think you said it. You said, David, I don't know what to do with Gary, or is that me?
Yeah.
I
don't know. Just bring me the pain. Bring on the pain.
Somebody can't do something with. We don't know what's going on with Gary.
Yeah.
In the chat, tell us which one of us is the one that sucks at Gary Woodland.
Yeah. Well, this week it's probably going to be me, but I'm playing him. You look at his approach number, his ball striking numbers.
Oh, I don't want to look at any of that. I don't want to look at any of it.
Off the tee, opportunities gained, 17th in the field, par 5 scoring. Checks the box there. I mean, everything for Woodland sets up well this week. He's at 8,600.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
blah,
well,
blah, blah.
It's, we said it could be a crazy golf tournament, so we'll see what happens. He has only played here once and missed the cut. And then right below him, throwing out the stats this time, I'm going completely opposite. I'm just going to go with the hot hand with Kiz. 263s last week, wrapped in between 2 terrible rounds. And I don't get it with him. Just like Bubba. Like Kiz throws out 263s and then he can't keep it all together.
Well, it's the putter. He gets hot with the putter.
Yeah, which
And that's the problem with trying to predict the putter. He gained 7 strokes putting last week. I mean, I get it, and I do think obviously that's gonna have to happen this week to finish at 24 under. You just don't know.
I think he can have a good week. He's finished third here before. Kiz is one of those guys too that I think you try to get on when he's on a good run. He is. I still think, even though it's an outside chance, I still think he really wants to make this Ryder Cup team. And knowing him and his confidence and everything else, I think he feels like he can. Talk to him a good bit at Congaree, and his game.
He's 24th in the points right now. I'm looking at it right now.
His game. He felt his game was coming around, especially the putter. So, and it showed last week. He could have won. I mean, you take out 2 terrible rounds.
Well, yeah.
And he wins that tournament easily.
You take out half the golf tournament? Is that what you just said? You take out half the golf tournament and he wins?
He was 14 under?
That's incredible analysis.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course you take out half the golf tournament he can win. Are you kidding me with that?
Well, I mean, it's an obvious statement, but that shows you how well he was playing.
I'll say all kinds of things.
Yeah. It shows you how hot the putter got, and that's what happened. I mean, if you just look at
that's how you win golf tournaments. You get hot with the putter. But that can continue. It's not like that just happens 1 week and then it's gone.
It can. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I told you it's a weird week, so maybe the Kisner.
I like Kiz, and you're going to get him low owned. Nobody's going to just pile on and play Kiz this week just because he had 2 good rounds last week. Part of what we're trying to do in GPPs is gain a little leverage from ownership. I think you're going to do that with both those guys in Kisner and Woodland. I mean, I could sit here and give you Hoffman, who's going to be high owned as shit. He's got, all the ball striking, everything you want, but that's not helping you in a GPP really all that much. So whatever. Play Hoffman. Play Hoffman. That's an easy pick. Here's an easy pick.
You always get so bent out of shape about this. Where I'm not asking.
Here's an easy pick.
God.
Fade Jason Day. I don't think Jason Day, just because he had some good rounds last week. I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit, but I mean, I think he's just battling a ton of injury problems, trying to battle through them. I don't think he can put 4 rounds together. I really don't. At least Kiz is healthy. So Jason Day fading at 8,900 all day long. And his approach play hasn't really been that great lately either.
This show is all about contradictions. If people hadn't figured that out yet, I mean, listen, we're veterans at this. We've been doing this 6 years. If you don't think we hadn't figured out that, what works best is for us to just contradict ourselves, and then that way we can claim both sides, then I don't know what you think. We may look and sound like dummies. We're not that dumb. Wes Bearden says, hey, look, Pat, Wes is not coming at you. But he says, DB's nagging Pat about Woodland, but DB can't stop Keegan. They're like stepbrothers. Yeah, yes, I know that. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying I can't remember which one of us has an issue with Woodland. I think Pat tends to play Woodland more, and I tend to, when I play him, I always get him wrong. I think he's one of those that I can't get right. That's what I'm saying. Yes, the 8K range to me is just a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions in here, and I think I can save some money and have the same kind of questions in the 7K range. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
Okay.
Ricky's probably going to win, and Woodland's going to finish second. That's what's probably going to happen, and I'm not going to have either one of them. So there you go. But we talk a bunch about ownership, and we talk a bunch about game theory and strategy and betting stuff and all that stuff late on Wednesday nights in the Nut Hut. It's another reason to join the Nut Hut. Every Wednesday night, usually around 8:30 or 9 p.m. we get started. You got Pat, you got Chalk Bomb Ben is in there, AC's in there, I'm in there, chatting it up, mixing it up with the people. It's a great time. We usually hang out in there for at least a couple hours. Usually goes much deeper than that. But for at least a couple hours, we'll answer your questions. We'll talk through some, what do we think about the weather? What do we think about tee time wave advantages? What do we think about how ownership's starting to shake out? Because we record the show on a Monday night. We don't know how it's going to shake out. Pat's over here talking about Charlie Hoffman being super chalk. Maybe he won't be. So we don't know. But come Wednesday night, we definitely have a lot more clarity around all that. And it's a great opportunity to get in and mix it up. We're having a ton of fun in the Nut Hut, meeting a lot of cool people, friendships being made, Laughs are being had. It's a great time. Great community over there. So go to tourjunkies.com, click on Golby's Nut Hut, sign up. It's $10 a month. You can cancel anytime you want. $90 a year. It's not that much. If you're a member, you get 20% off any item that you purchase as long as you're a member in the Tour Junkies shop. We got the hoodies up. We got the Siwoo Kim t-shirts up. This fresh polo that I'm wearing right here. I can't believe we still have these left. These are the best golf polos. So you get a discount on the shop. We get our insider caddy, John Rathouse. He's in there giving out caddy info. Any caddy info we get every week, we kind of pour in there and dump in there. We screenshot the press transcripts from all the interviews that week. It's just fantastic. I don't understand how you wouldn't spend $10 a month on the Nut Hut membership. Just give it a shot. Again, you can cancel anything. Dylan Hess, once you get in the hut, you won't cancel. That's right, you won't, but you can if you just want to do that. But it's a great time. We have a lot of fun in there. All right, 7K range, Pat. I've let off the first two. I'm going to let you hit this one. Brendan Todd at 7,900. Along with Doc Redman. Doc Redman, they kick it off at 7,900. You got my boy Mav McNeely. I am the Mav McNeely whisperer. I get him right. 7,700. Our boy Sepp Straka, another Georgia boy, 7,700. Kyle Stanley's in there. Old Kramer Hickok, 7,600. He's in there. You got Lonto, Hadwin, Ryan Armour past champ, or no, not past champ, but what was I thinking about? Maybe last week he was past champ. I don't know. Matt
Ryan Armour, he won like a year ago.
Matt Jones, 7,300. Mark Hubbard, 7,300. Your boy Tom Lewis, I know you love him. And Cam Davis is back, baby. Hank Lebioda, your doppelganger, is in there. He's playing good right now, 7,200. CH3, our friend CH3 at 71. You got your boy Bo Hostler. I know you were real proud of that call last week, your Bo Hostler play.
Yeah.
Our boy Joel Damon's in there. You can get real fired up about Rafa Cabrera Bello, which I know you like to do.
I'm not this week.
Okay. All right. Well, who you got? Who's your 3 favorite plays and your fade in this range?
Well, this is a guy that I have a hard time quitting also, and that is Lucas Glover at 7,800. I like him this week. We always know he's a fantastic ball striker, great on the approach, great off the tee, also opportunities gained. He's 32nd in the field, top 20 in par 5 scoring. He's been in great recent form this whole year. So Lucas Glover at 7,800, I think this is a good week for him. I think this is a good course for him as well. May not win, but you still get upside at 7,800 from him. So I will play him. And then the next one I like is Chez Reavie at 7,600. This is a Chez reach. This is a Chez week.
Okay.
God, easy for me to say. That's that triple IPA.
I kind of like Chez this week too, actually. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, great ball striker, pretty good off the tee, top 10 in opportunities gained. I think this is a good week for him. I think the history here is a little suspect. Yeah, he missed the cut the first time he played here, but still, you look at his form recently, it's been pretty good as well. You look at his last few events, he finished top 25 at the Travelers last week, T40 at the U.S. Open, T14 at the Palmetto. So I think Chez Reavie could have a really good week here at 7,600. And then dropping down, this is a little sneaky play for you, lower owned, I think.
Yeah.
Not going to check any boxes at all. Not at all. No boxes, I don't think.
Okay.
Mark Hubbard at 7,300. I like him. Let's look at his last 4 events. T13 last week, T57 at the Palmetto, T42 at the Memorial. Made the cut, T69 at the Charles Schwab. So the guy's just making cuts. A good week last week with the top 15 finishes. He is a great putter in general. So I think Hubbard could be a good super low-owned guy for you to play this week in GPP lineups. There's a lot of good people that I like here. I like Hank Lebioda, again, at 7,200. My fade, though, is going to be Patton Kizzire. Done with Kizzire right now. He's at 7,400. He hasn't made a cut in 50,000 years.
That's not true.
That's not
true. We're just talking about him finishing 3rd twice in a row, like just a few weeks ago.
Okay, well, after that, he sucked. Okay.
Yeah, he did suck after that. Right when we started playing him, when
we started playing him, he sucked. So maybe that's when you should start playing him again. But don't like Kizzire this week. I will not play him. And that's it. So there you go.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there's a handful in here I like. I'll start at the top. I like Doc Redman. I'm going to keep riding the Doc Redman train. I'm glad to see him playing well again. He didn't do great last week, I guess, but his irons are back after he kind of got a little squirrely there for a little bit. This is a better course for Doc than a lot of people, or than other courses he's been struggling on here lately. I mean, it doesn't necessarily require that he hit it a long way off the tee. He's not a big bomber, even though he's a young kid. He kind of hits a lot of fairways, and he's just kind of long enough. But I like seeing the irons trending the way that they are. He's also gaining strokes with the flat stick in his last 6 events. He's been positive in strokes gained putting. A runner-up at the tournament that we shall not talk about just a few weeks ago. 9th at the Byron Nelson.
Backdoor runner-up. But I've been a fan of Doc, by the way, since before that tournament. That was the tournament where I got on him.
Some people prefer the backdoor. And, I mean, Matt Kuchar's made a lot of money going in the backdoors. Yes. Byron Nelson, he finished 9th there. I mean, I don't know. He's showing a little bit. I like it. I like, this spot for him. He's got a good hit record here. Runner up here 2 years ago, the first time out. T21 last year. I don't know. I kind of like a little Doc. He's tempting. Now, if he's chalky, he's one that if he gets up there at like if Doc's like if we have like 15% Doc, that's too much. I don't think I'm going to do that. I do love some Sepp Straka. I'm always looking for an opportunity to play Sepp Straka. I know AC in the Nut Hut is as well. Coming off the T10 at the Travelers, Sepp loves this place. T11, T8. I kind of feel like he's got the Bryson method of taking down this place. He's just going to bomb it, and he's just going to score. He's going to feast on the par fives. But it was good to see him at the Travelers. Gained 5.4 strokes with his irons after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row being in the negative with his irons. He found something, because I mean, you don't typically see a guy go from like -3 strokes gained, -3, -1, -1, -4 to then 5.4 positive. Like, you tend to see a little slower. Something clicked for old Sepp at the Travelers. Maybe it was a 2-week break. He played the tournament we won't talk about. Then he took a break and came back to the Travelers. Maybe found a little something, and I think he comes here ready to go. And I like that. I like that for Sepp. The last name I'm going to give you, we haven't seen since the Memorial, where he finished T26. He's at 7,400. He putts best on POA and Bent, and he is Mr. Danny Willett. I'm going to play a little Danny Willett this week.
Okay.
Feel kind of weird about it. I'm not typically, outside of betting him at 150 to 1 the year he won the Masters. I haven't really done much with him since. I don't really know what to think about Danny, but I'm going to play him. He doesn't check a lot of boxes. Other than the putting, I guess, I just see the name, and I feel like I think Danny's going to show up here. I don't know. Call it a gut play, maybe, if you will. So I'm going to go Danny Willett. My fade is going to be Brandt Snedeker. I don't really
love to fade Brandt Snedeker.
I don't like him.
What's wrong with Brandt? He's like a nice guy. He gives to charity and everything.
Come on,
man. He cried when he lost the Masters, and everybody thought it was sweet.
I didn't think it was sweet. I thought it was weak. Brooks wouldn't cry if he lost the Masters.
Anyway, Sneds is fine. What's wrong with Sneds?
I just never see the upside with Snedeker. I just don't. I don't see it with him. I mean, I get that this could be a little bit of a Snedeker course, but if it's not January and we're not in Hawaii or California, I just don't ever feel it. And he just doesn't do it for me. And 7,700 is a lot for a guy that doesn't do it for me. He finished T5 here, I think, a couple years ago, but he did that. He gained 7.5 strokes putting, which is what he does. I mean, obviously, I tend to not like guys who are just so putter dependent, because I think that's tough to do. In his 6 rounds here, which is a limited sample size, he's minus 5.8 strokes gained ball striking in the 6 rounds. I just don't want that. For a guy at 7,700, I don't want it. Give me a guy who I think who I'm just waiting on the putter to hit. What's going on? I'm not looking, but something feels like
this light came on all of a sudden, and I was trying to hit it to cut it off because it's bothering me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not on the sets. Now, this is a big range, right? And I do want to throw out a couple names. I gave you my favorites for GPPs, and I think those will be good. I like your Chez play. I do think this is an interesting Chez play. Another, and I like your Lebiota play. Lebiota's hot right now. I think you keep riding a hot Lebiota. I think he's feeling himself a little bit.
He's feeling himself?
Yeah, I think he's feeling himself. One name that come on. One name that I never mention, but I guess now I'm gonna come around on him because I think honestly I'm better off that I don't ever play him because I typically see people disappointed. But the ball striking is tempting, and that's Kyle Stanley. I don't ever play Kyle Stanley, but I'm looking at it, man, and he is. And I know he's one of those that the putter is just god awful, but he's tempting me right now. He's really tempting me right now.
Do you know sometimes I have to save a few plays for the betting show, just because I like to switch it up a little bit, because that's why you should listen to betting show also.
Yeah.
Stanley is in there. Stanley's in the betting show.
Who to win? I don't know if he could win.
Yeah, he could win.
No, that'd be weird. I mean, if Nate Lashley can win, literally anyone can win. But yeah, I feel like that would be weird. All right, who are your names in the 6K? Give them to me. Who you got?
All right, I got a couple here. I'm going to start with Martin Laird.
Yes, I love Martin Laird.
Love him this week.
Martin Laird on a short course is usually a good play.
Yeah. And this course, by the way, it plays shorter than 73 something sounds like a decent. It's about average, I guess. It's not like last week that was 68, 6,900, but this place
fours are shorter.
This place plays shorter than it looks. So I like Marty Laird. Top 20 in ball striking and strokes gained approach. Top 10 in par 5 scoring. He just needs the putter to get hot. I like him there at 6,900. Another guy down here at 6,700 is now this is a guy that I never get right. Never. And I don't know if he's a great golfer or not. But I like the fact that he can bomb it all over this course, I believe. And because it's pretty wide open, the greens are small, but this guy can bomb it around this course, and that is Cameron Champ at 6,700.
Wow.
38th in the field in ball striking, second strokes gained off the tee, 30th in opportunities gained. I think he's going to score a lot this week. And he's actually played pretty well here in the past. When you look at his history here, he finished top 15 last year, T46 the first year, so not great. But so Cam Champ at 6,700, I think that's a good sort of low owned, a little bit of a risky play for you there in the 6K range. But I do like him. So there you go. Those are my two. Don't have any more than that.
Wow, that's not very many. Keep in mind, when you get down here in these 6Ks and we're talking tournament plays, I want to see, a lot of people don't know this, but we have our friend Tom that keeps up with our picks. He records our picks every week and he puts them in a spreadsheet so that we keep track of them. We have percentages of like how many have made cuts and top 25s and top 10s and wins and stuff. I've been keeping track of it for a couple years. Tom, thank you for doing that. But he when I look at the 6K range on Monday every week to see how our picks did, I kind of want to see a bunch of miscuts and top 15s. Like, that's what I want to see. I don't care if it's a bunch of 48ths and 54ths, and I don't care about all that. You're down here in this range. You're looking for guys with upside, and they're all going to be some risky biscuits. They're all going to have that wrist muscle attached to them, and it's going to feel weird, and it may hit you in a unique spot. But you want guys that can pop. Now, Cam Champ makes me want to bang my head up against the wall and maybe, just hurt myself. But he does have upside. We've seen it. He's won twice on the PGA Tour, I think. Weak field, sorry events, but he's got upside. So that's what you need down here. That's what you're looking for. Now, Marty Laird, I don't know how much upside he's got. He did just win, I guess, last year. But, yeah. I like the way Kevin Chappell is doing his thing. And I mentioned him a couple weeks ago. Chappie, if you're new to this, Kevin Chappell was a staple play back in the day when he was healthy. He's playing on a medical exemption. He's got limited starts in that medical exemption. So he's picking his spots carefully. I think this is a place that he picks and looks at and goes, I think I can do okay here. The ball striking has always been pretty solid for Kevin Chappell. He's coming off a couple of decent finishes, and I think, and he knows how to win and compete on the PGA Tour. So at 6,900, I like Chappell. I'm feeling like our boy Norlander, friend of the podcast, I feel like I want to play Henrik here. He likes courses that reward accuracy and precision. He hits a lot of fairways. When the irons are on, they are really, really good. And the irons have been on the last couple of events. It all comes down to the putter for Henrik. So he is also team no putt. And then I'm going to give you two more guys I do not mention almost ever. But you know who's a perfect GPP, like either miscut or has winning upside and has won on the PGA Tour before this down here, and he's actually shown a little bit of form here lately, and that is Danny Lee.
Danny Lee. I knew that's what you were going to say.
You knew I was going to say that?
I'm staring at it right now. I was like, he's going to say Danny Lee. That's what he's going to do.
I mean,
he's done. He has, though. He's shown a little bit.
He's flashed a little bit, man. It's very strange, but he's done it. He won the Greenbrier back in 2015, dude. That's when we were starting out this whole thing. Won the Greenbrier. I'll never forget it, in a playoff with Robert Streb.
Yes.
And Kiss. Yes, that's right.
But he has not been terrible lately.
He's not been terrible. He's actually pretty long off the tee. He can hit it pretty decent off the tee. The irons have been solid lately. I don't know. Danny Lee's just a guy that if he gets in it, he can go. Now I'm looking at it, and his last top 10 was like pre-COVID, which feels like a millennium ago. It was at the Arnold Palmer in March of 2020. That was the last top 10. But he finished 19th at the tournament that we're not going to talk about just a couple weeks ago. 21st at the Valspar. I don't know. I feel like Danny Lee's like creeping. He's just kind of creeping. Weird. The last name I'm going to give you is a veteran on tour who has won on the tour, who prefers courses where you don't have to be a bomber. You don't have to be. His irons have been pretty good the last couple of events, and it's Vaughn Taylor. Vaughn Taylor, Augusta boy. Vaughn Taylor is about as low as I'm looking right now. It's 6,600. 52nd at that tournament we're not going to talk about. 18th at the Memorial. Miscut last week at the Travelers. But Vaughn Taylor is a name down there that I think is also kind of getting me a little bit. Really weird, I know. But just remember, it's going to be a weird week. Get ready to get weird. It's just going to be that way. So there it is. Okay. It's going to be a fun betting show. I will say that. We've got the bets, we got the picks, we got let 'em hang predictions, which mine missed last week. What was yours? Do you remember?
Missed. I said Bubba was going to miss the cut.
Yes. Okay.
He was leading the tournament going into the last.
Yeah. But we got let 'em hang predictions. I got a good one. I got one I really like here. And then just the tip tonight is, and it's going to be me, and I'm going to go off on something that will help you be a better DFS player and better bettor with an O. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, comment something. I don't know what you're going to comment. I didn't think about it beforehand, so now I don't know. I don't have anything, but just comment something. Tell us what you think about something. It could be anything. Tell us what you think about anything in the comments. We appreciate it. It helps us out. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've not already. Get in the Nut Hut. Join Fantasy National. Those are the things you can do to help TJ, to support the show, and to make yourself a better DFS player and a better. All those things. Pat, let's get to it. The betting show is going to be a good time. Thanks for watching. May your screens be green. See ya.